Hi, welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to write the HTML markup for Preloader component. I'm going to open the brackets code editor. I have already opened the solo web project inside brackets code editor. And this is the index.html file of solo website. I'm going to write HTML markup inside body element since this would be the visible part of solo website. Let us get started. I am going to close this head section so we can get some space and we can focus only on Preloader. Okay, we want to add Preloader for this solo website, so I am going to write comment for Preloader. This is how you can write comment inside index.html file. Comments are ignored by the web browser and comments help to describe and explain your complicated code. So it is always good practice to add comments to your HTML code. Okay, now I am going to start writing HTML markup for Preloader. I am going to keep it simple. For Preloader, I am going to add two div elements. I am going to add first div element. The div element is nothing more than a container unit that encapsulates other page elements. Next, we need to assign an ID to this div element. I am going to add an ID attribute and the value for this ID attribute is Preloader. As you already know, the ID attribute specifies a unique ID for an HTML element and this ID value must be unique within this HTML document. We will use this ID attribute to apply style and jQuery effect to this div element. Therefore, we need to assign an ID to this div element. Okay, next I have to add one another div inside this Preloader div. I'm going to add opening and closing tags for div element and I'm going to assign an ID to this div element and the ID value for this div element is status. And I'm going to add HTML space inside this status div. For space, I'm going to use HTML non-breaking space character. This is HTML non-breaking space character and it is just going to add white space. So there will be two parts of Preloader. The first part is this Preloader div which will cover the whole screen. I mean this Preloader div is going to cover the whole page and this status div is going to show the preload status. I mean preload animation before page load. That's it about writing HTML markup for Preloader. I'm going to select all of my code inside this index.html file and I'm going to right click and I'm going to select beautify and this is going to format my code. And you can see this option only if you have installed the beautify extension. And I have installed this beautify extension in the beginning of this course. So I'm going to select this beautify option and it is going to format my HTML code. I'll remove the extra space and I will go ahead and I'm going to save my work. Next, I'm going to open this index.html file inside web browser. And to open this index.html file inside web browser, I am going to click on this open in browser icon. And I hope you remember we installed this open in browser extension in the beginning of this course. So I am going to click on this open in browser icon. Right now you would see nothing for Preloader except this white space because we just added empty div elements. Okay, we just wrote HTML markup for Preloader component and in next lecture, I'm going to apply CSS to this Preloader component so we can see it working. See you in next class. Thanks.